Yo, it's your boy TTK and we're back with another Pokemon video. Pretty interesting one. I honestly wasn't even planning on going to record for the next couple of days because, you know, it's Christmas. This video is going to come out on the 24th. Regardless though, I was in the Discord server, 35 Pokes Discord server, and I was just like, cool, there's this new meta game that people are playing to do 35 Pokes, and it had to do with like playing with like Fakemons and cat Pokemon as well. So I was looking into it and I was just like, some of these guys are hella broken, I'm not gonna lie. So I saw a bunch of these Pokemon throughout the different fan games that this you know, side server Pokemon Showdown supports, which includes Infinite, Fusion, Insurgents, Uranium, and Infinity. Now I've only played Insurgents over the years. Like, I'm not really a guy that plays fan-made Pokemon games. I kind of like, I'm kind of tired of just playing like through a Pokemon game. Like, normally I just play competitive whenever it's Pokemon or not. So I saw some of these mons from Insurgents, I saw some of them from Uranium and Infinity. I was like, these mons are kind of broken, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm just like, cool, I want to talk about them and share them with you guys because like, some people are also like me as well when it comes to the fact that they don't really play any of the fan games, so they don't really know what people are cooking in some of these fan games. But either way, if you guys enjoy this sort of video, I definitely would like to make another one as well, because like, I'm only covering the surface of like some of these broken mons, and I'm just sort of like the ones that called out to me most interestingly. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel, join the kingdom. We've passed our mark of 500 subscribers for the year, and we've even gotten 7 more subscribers since 500 subscribers. So I want to thank you guys for all the support. The Auras video is popping off, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, let's get into the first one that we're going to be talking about. Now, you know, it's crazy when we're getting into a format called Chaos Overused. Like, you know, there's going to be some craziness that's going to be coming with a tier called Chaos Overused. Now, the first Pokemon we're going to start off with is something called Gigantusk. I'm assuming it's called Gigantusk or something like that. But Gigantusk here is a very broken Pokemon. Now you're probably thinking, Ice Steel, like, not the worst typing in the world. Like, Alolan Sandslash made that typing work, like, you know, in the lower tiers. But how is this Mon included in a tier called Chaos OU where some of the most broken ass Pokemon exist? Like, in Chaos OU, you have some of the Catmons like Oromorph, Crusadon, Ceruledge. Like, there are some, you know, normal, you know, canon Pokemon that have made it into this tier, like Dragapult, Dragonite. But what is a mon with an Ice Steel typing and like like, this is like a Gen 1 build. Like, this is basically Rhydon. So you're probably thinking, a mon with 100 attack in Gen 9, low special defense and low speed with an Ice Steel typing. How is this thing even a OU level Pokemon? Now look at his ability, guys. Look at his ability. It has the ability Simple. Now we all know what Simple does. It basically doubles every stat change of a move. If you get a +2 attack from Swords Dance, you get a +4 attack instead. If you Shell Smash, you get a +4 in all attack, like attack and special attack, and then you get -2 defenses. So pretty simple. It is in the name, obviously. And you know, over the years, like, the canon Pokemon that have gotten Simple are pretty bad. You have B-Barrel, you have Swoobat, and you have Numel. Like, some of these mons are not good, obviously. So, because it's a very broken ability. Now, give it on a mon with actual stats compared to Swoobat and B-Barrel, and an actual much better superior dual typing of Ice Steel, you have a pretty broken Pokemon on your hands. Now, it would be enough if I just said Simple on a mon with these stats, but also get some opportunity with Shell Smash. So obviously you see a mon with 57 speed, which only reaches about 234 speed. Now, instead of doubling that, you're tripling that speed. So at that point, there's pretty much no speed control options that can even outspeed you. And you're coming in with 100 attack, getting a +4 boost. Like, are you seeing where I'm going with this? Now you're going to see why Gigantusk is a Pokemon that should not be messed with at all. You have Icicle Crash, you have Earthquake. That's all you really need. Ice Ground coverage has always been historically pretty strong. And then obviously you could probably just go Heavy Slam. I don't know how heavy this mon is, but it's a fucking mammoth. So why is it going to not be any like heavy, you know? So you obviously have this, and yeah, this is a pretty broken Pokemon. If this was in Gen 9 OU, I'm pretty sure it's gonna get banned. You know, add Terra into the mix to get rid of your ×4 fighting and fire weakness, and yeah, it just wraps from there. Just Terra Ground on this and it just goes crazy. So yeah, that's the first one I want to talk about. Gigantusk would definitely be an Uber's threat in actual Smogon singles, 100%. Now we're moving on to a pretty interesting one next. We have something called Berserker Gene. Now this isn't from a fan-made game. It's probably made by a Pokemon player of this community that you know is in the Discord for this server that I'm on. But Berserker Gene, if you're looking at it, it looks like a Mew, isn't it? Like, so this is a Paradox Pokemon of Mew. Now, if you look at the stats, you're trying to probably think, well, Mew's a Pokemon with 600 base stat total with 100 in every stat. So how would you get a Paradox version of that? And I think they've pretty much got it like down. Like, again, I wasn't really imagining a Paradox Mew in the first place. So it was a thing where yeah, it's not actually that bad, but you're giving it 139 attack. That's pretty solid in Gen 9. You're giving it 107 speed, which, you know, isn't slow by any means, but isn't like Flutter main level of speed. So, and you're also getting pretty solid bulk. Like, you basically averaged out Mew's bulk of 100, 100, 100 to 99, 101, and 93. So slightly, it's definitely especially less bulky than Mew, obviously, by the numbers, but defensively, like, it pretty much just averages out. Now, why is this Mon OU in Chaos overused? Now, let's look at the moveset that it has. It has Calm Mind, but it's obviously a physical attacker now, so it can't really go for this special setup option. So what does it have as its physical setup options? Now, it has Dragon Dance, which is always a good start, and obviously, in terms of its utility move pool, it pretty much has everything that Mew has used over the years, which includes Spikes, Stealth Rocks, Toxic, Thunder Wave. But T-Spikes is a new one because Mew doesn't typically get T-Spikes, but this one does get T-Spikes. So that's pretty good. But yeah, it has Dragon Dance. And what physical moves does it have to use with Dragon Dance? Now, it has a signature move here, which I noticed when I was looking over this mon for the first time. And that's something called Psycho Barrage, which is basically a Psychic Outrage at 120 base power, lasts for 2 to 3 turns, and also confuses the user afterwards. Now, obviously, its stabs of Psychic and Dragon are not stabs you necessarily want to be locked into, because Dragon is immune to, Fairy is immune to Dragon, and Dark is immune to Psychic. So obviously, you're probably going to try and run like Dragon Claw or Zen Headbutt respectively. Fortunately, it doesn't seem like it gets Psychic Fangs like Mew does, which is a shame, because Psychic Fangs doesn't miss, but Zen Headbutt will do if you don't want to run the Outrage options of a Psycho Barrage and Outrage. And in terms of its coverage, well, it's a Mew, so it's always going to have good coverage. It has some good moves like Fire Punch, it has Flip Turn even, has Poltergeist, which is interesting. Don't know if you need it for Poltergeist, but I guess if you want to hit Psychic types, but at the same time you have Dragon Stab, so that's not really too necessary. You mainly probably want to be focusing on hitting Steel types. Now, it has Storm Throw, which is not a move you see very often, but it is a move that obviously will ignore stat boost to your defense stat because it's a critical hit move. Also has, does it get Close Combat? It has Drain Punch. It has some interesting moves for sure. But yeah, this could probably be an interesting set. Probably just run Dragon Claw, but I guess if you want to get that power, keep Psycho Barrage, run Dragon Claw, because again, I would assume there's more dragons than dark types. I'm probably wrong about that, but you know, just give anything a shot at this point. So yeah, you have this max attack, max speed. It reaches 344 speed. Yeah, so I could have just clicked Jolly Nature and it would have told me, but I want to rely on my memory, innit? So yeah, so we got that, and yeah, this one just seems pretty strong. I could understand why this would be Chaos OU level Pokemon with these stats, but in terms of actual like SVOU, where would this thing stand? Now, Psychic Dragon isn't the worst typing. Take Terrestrialization into account. You can definitely break past Steel types, so it's probably going to have a pretty good time in OU. Would it be broken though? I don't really know, but its move pool is pretty hard to prep for, and then the possibility of Terroring and just having Dragon Dance with that speed tier probably would be potentially ban worthy. But again, like, it's a strong Pokemon in general, so what can you expect? But yeah, Berserker Gene seems like a pretty fun mon in general if I was to use it in battle. But onto the third mon I want to talk about, we got Chansey. Now, it's not a normal Chansey, it's Chansey from the Eggco region, wherever this is from. This is from Pokemon Infinity, and obviously I haven't played this game, so I don't really know much about Pokemon Infinity whatsoever. Pretty close name to Infinite Fusions, which we won't be going over in this video because fusions are, you know, pretty much infinite impossibilities. But yeah, we do have Chansey Eggco, and you'll probably see in here that some of these stats are looking a bit different from a Chansey. Now, who wants to guess what his attack stat is? Just have a garner of a guess. Type down below what Chansey Eggco's attack stat is. But regardless, we got 250 attack. Now, this is basically a Chansey with its stats inverted around. Instead of having 5 attack and defense, it now has 250 attack and 35 defense. Now, this is a Pokemon that can still evolve, so obviously you can run the Eviolite item. You don't want to know where Blissey Echo is located. It's an Uber's Pokemon in the Chaos OU, so you probably don't even want to wonder how broken that can be. But regardless, we have a 250 attack Chansey with a Fighting Fairy typing, and also the ability Reckless. Now, Reckless is a pretty solid ability as long as you actually have the moves to actually utilize Reckless. Now, in terms of the you know, recall moves I did see on Chansey Echo here on the physical side, of course, we're not using 5 special attack, but it has double edge, which is going to be a pretty strong neutral option, especially coming in at a natural 120 base attack. I mean base power there. You also have stab submission. Now, I saw submission, I was like, there's no way I'm using submission, bro. This ain't Gen 1. Like, I really don't want to use submission, but at the same time, in terms of your other fighting stab options, you don't get close combat, which, to be fair, if it had close combat, this thing would probably be like banned as well from Chaos OU, which is kind of crazy to me. But it does have Drain Punch to recover its HP, has Hammer Arm too. It's not a fast mon by any means, so you're not expecting this thing to actually outspeed anything, but it does have some fun moves. Sucker Punch here, and has Play Rough as Stab. Like, this could be a pretty solid wall breaker. You have Stab to beat Steel types. Fighting Fairy does complement each other very well. We've seen that with Iron Valiant this generation, and this is basically just a Glass Cannon Iron Valiant with no speed. But again, 250 attack. We don't even have a Pokemon that even reaches that level of attack stat. Primal Groudon and Mega Rayquaza reached 180. Imagine a Pokemon with 250 attack. Like, naturally, it already gets to 536 without investment. Like, some mons at +2 reach that level of attacking power. Like, do you know how crazy that is? Like, I don't even have to tell you guys that. But with a maximum EVs in attack, you do get to 599. And with an Adamant Nature, you do get to 658. So, it just goes to show how bulky this mon is. I mean, how, you know, strong this Pokemon is. Needs no setup, will probably just OHKO everything in its way. And if this thing was in OU, it's tough to say, to be honest, because again, it has no bulk to its name. Like, 105 HP is good, but 35 defense and 5 special defense, even with Eviolite, isn't actually helping all too much. So it's pretty much a Glass Cannon with no speed. Definitely needs something to help it out, maybe webs or, you know, Trick Room. But yeah, other than that, I can't see it getting banned, but under the right conditions, this thing is definitely a menace to society in like regular Pokemon. But moving on to something from Pokemon Insurgents, the Mons, the Pokemon game that brought in Delta Pokemon for the first time. We'll not be talking about Delta Pokemon yet, though. We do have Flygon here, Mega Flygon. If they don't make a Pokemon as good as this for Mega Flygon when Legends ZA comes out, I'll be very disappointed, because Mega Flygon from Insurgents has set the bar very, very high. Now, the reason why Mega Flygon from Insurgents has set the bar very high is because it has a pretty unique ability called Amplifier, which basically increases the damage of sound-based moves by 25%, which is pretty solid. That's better than what you get from the Aerolate, Refrigerate, Pixelate abilities, because they got nerfed from 30% to 20%. But you're getting in between with 25%, which is not bad. So in terms of what Mega Flygon has offering to the table, 140 special attack with 120 speed. You could say this is not anything crazy, but this thing is definitely destroying SVUU if it ever dropped, I'll be honest. So it's definitely an OU level Pokemon. So 140 attack, 120 speed. Can't run Throat Spray though, which is quite unfortunate, but you do get basically almost a life orb boost on Boom Burst. You're now a Bug Dragon type, which means that you can actually utilize Stab Bug Buzz, which is going to hit very, very hard coming off of Amplify's 25% boost. In my knowledge, that would be... I legitimately cannot be bothered to do the maths. It's gonna be very high. You have Draco Meteor, but you also have a new move here, which is called Dracon Voice, which is a unique move in Pokemon Insurgents, which is also probably a sound-based move, judging by the fact that it has voice in its name. But 105 base power with 85 accuracy, like, obviously it has its setback, obviously, but you know, this is hitting very, very hard coming off of Amplifier. So yeah, you know, your Dragon type that doesn't have to use Draco Meteor, you still have Flygon's move pool, which includes Fire Blast, Boom Burst, and pretty much any other special move that it has access to. And then you just click like Fire Blast, like Flygon would be crazy. Like, what can I say? Like, this is insane. But yeah, 120 speed. Again, like in terms of OU right now, it doesn't seem that crazy, but 140 is special attack coming off of pretty much all of your stabs boosted. Yeah, this is going to be a very solid wall breaker to have in OU. But yeah, moving on to the 5th Pokemon, we got Typhlosion Delta with Mega Evolution. Now, Typhlosion, I'm covering Flagon on Typhlosion because, again, they're my 2 favorite Pokemon, basically. But yeah, we have Mega Typhlosion Delta with ability called Supercell. Now, Supercell, not to be confused with the TV show that came out, you know, not too long ago, but Supercell basically improves your special attack stat by 50% if you're under rain or the new moon weather condition that's exclusive to Insurgents. Now, new moon, again, I don't know too much about it, but I think it boosts dark type moves or something. Like, it has something to do with dark and you know, something type moves. But regardless, you can also activate Supercell in the rain, which is where this thing is probably going to get a lot of its power from. Now, it's an electric steel type with basically Mega Charizard's Mega Charizard wise special attack stat, but much faster at 110 base speed, which is pretty good considering the fact its typing is steel electric, which has quite a few resistances, like about 9 or 10 under its belt. So having a fast mon like that, which is not even that frail, 110 special defense is also quite bulky. So yeah, Mega Typhlosion Delta is going to be doing a lot of work here. In terms of, you know, Supercell, it has T-Bolt, it has Volt Switch, it has Flash Cannon, obviously. Again, nothing too crazy on the special side. It's more like, if it's under rain, it's basically getting a Choice Specs boost with, like, no drawback. Like, this is better solar power because you're not taking recoil, but of course you're stuck with your Mega Evolution stone here, so you can't really do much with that. In terms of utility move, it doesn't really get any... doesn't really get any setup moves other than work up. So I guess unless you want to run like a work up set in rain, which again is going to boost your special attack by 50% again. So you're going to get like a double 50% boost. That's pretty solid. And then yeah, that's just it really. No Weather Ball really, but you do get Terra Blast, which again, if you're counting Terrestrialization into the mix, which it would if it was in Scarlet and Violet OU, it could actually go like Terra Water in rain and actually do a lot of damage with Terra Blast Water. But yeah, this is again another really strong offensive threat, and you know, I had 10 to do, but at this point, like 10 might be a bit too long. I might have to choose what actually looks pretty cool. I'll be choosing another ice type here because it is Christmas Eve. So from the list I have, I also have another one called Alpico or Alpico or whatever you want to call it. This is from Pokemon Uranium. Ice Fairy typing. Again, you see the stats and like you're probably thinking it's not anything too crazy. Like I would say it's kind of crazy to be honest. 132 speed in Gen 9 is pretty solid, all things considered. And you also have 110 attack, which again isn't too bad. But it depends on the ability that you decide to go with it. Technician. Now, Technician is naturally and historically been a very good ability in singles. We've seen Sizzle use it, we've seen Roserade use it, but you know, Sizzle is basically the Mr. Technician guy. But the reason why Technician is so important on this guy as well is because of the fact that if you look at his special move pool, it has Frost Breath. Now, this is a Pokemon. Now, this is a move that has 60 base power, but always results in a critical hit. So it basically clocks in at 90 base power. But obviously, Technician doesn't really care about the critical hit. The base power of the move is all that matters for Technician. So this goes from 60 to 90, and then also crits. So it's obviously it's stronger than it's at 135 base power without stab. Do you know how crazy that is? 135 base power without stab, and then you add stab onto that because it's an ice type. You know, and then you can't like you actually just break past like anything that's setting up a Calm Mind. You know how crazy this is? And then you also get Draining Kiss as well, which gets boosted up to 75 base power. You know, and it heals you as well. So obviously he's a lot weaker than Moonblast, but it's almost as strong as Dazzling Gleam, which, you know, unfortunately some fairy types have to deal with the fact that they don't get Moonblast. But regardless, yeah, this is a very strong Pokemon in terms of wall breaking on the you know, special side. In terms of setting up moves. I'm tweaking, man. It's been a long day, but yeah, it doesn't get any setup moves, but it doesn't really need it at that point if Frost Breath is just going to be critting everything and dealing a lot of damage. But other than that, it doesn't really get much of a physical moves or special moves. Like, its coverage is pretty barren. Doesn't seem like it gets Terra Blast either, but assuming it was added into Scarlet and Violet, it would have access to Terra Blast, and then, you know, you could obviously obviously fix the coverage issue of not being able to hit steel or fire types, obviously, by going like Terra Blast ground or something. But yeah, this is a pretty fun mon, all things considered. Like, not anything too crazy, but yeah, it's pretty fun in general. But yeah, and then the last one I want to talk about, what would be the most interesting one on my list to talk about here. We have an evolution, guys, which is a custom made one. It's called Varian. Now, that sounds like variation, Varian. It has the ability Protein. Now, obviously, Protein got nerfed in Gen 9, and I'm just like, well, Protein got nerfed in Gen 9, so it only activates once per switching. But I could imagine before the Protein nerf, this one was actually putting in a lot of work. This is from Pokemon Infinity here. Yeah, it has Protein and Unaware, quite useful abilities to have. It has 600 base stat total, which none of the evolutions even reach. So having all of these stats are quite good. It's basically a mythical Pokemon at this point with 100 base stat total all around. But obviously you have 80 speed, and then you have 110 in both attack and special attack. So yeah, what does Varian have that could make it interesting? Well, it's a typeless Pokemon. That's what makes it interesting, because it has no weaknesses, and obviously it has no stab. So obviously with Protein, you change to one type, and this thing could be any type it wants to, which is pretty funny. If you want this to be a normal type breaker, just go a normal type move. If you want this to be a, what do you call it, ice type or fire type, just run fire type moves. Like, what can I say? This mon is pretty funny. In terms of certain moves that it has Tail Glow. Oh god, it has Tail Glow. Oh no. A mon with 110 attack and Tail Glow? How did I not notice this? Yeah, no, this is insane. Now, obviously, it doesn't get any other bug moves, so I guess being locked into Protein bug is probably not the best idea. So you probably want to go Unaware and go Tail Glow and then just run your coverage options. The sad thing is you're not going to get Stab on any of these because there's no typeless move, unfortunately, that you can use as an attack. But in terms of high base power moves that you can run on the special side, you obviously have Fire Blast, you have Moon Blast. Just go your strongest moves, and then you have like Side Shock, I guess, to get past special walls, and then yeah, this one would be pretty fun. But yeah, not having any stab is probably gonna hold this one back from being too crazy. But yeah, so that's the offensive side of Varian here. In terms of actual like defensive stats, well, you do have Yawn, you have Toxic, you have Taunt on a mon with 80 defense. You also have Heal Bell as well, so this could be a very useful utility Pokemon in SVOU. You have no weaknesses, you have Unaware, so you basically stop any setup sweeper, and you have Solid Bulk. Like, what could go wrong with this? But yeah, so yeah, that's it for today. We got some of these pretty broken funny mons, and before we go, I'm just gonna show you guys what's in Ubers, or I'll show you Chaos Anything Goes, because some of these mons are completely broken. If we look at AG, we have Primal Arceus from Pokemon Insurgents with an ability that basically makes every single move it uses stab, and then it has no resistances. Like, it's Tinted Lens, but yeah, it's basically Tinted Lens, isn't it? Like, you ignore resistances, but obviously Tinted Lens can't cancel out 4x resistances, but this completely cancels out 4x resistances. Like, you hit everything and there's no immunities. You have to hit everything neutrally, and obviously if you hit something super effectively, you're hitting that super effectively. So yeah, Arceus Primal is a pretty funny Pokemon. We also have Primal Giratina, which, has every single type defensively, which means that it's only weak to rock type moves, which is pretty funny, all things considering. And then some of the Ubers level mons here. What do I even want to choose here? Some of these are obvious. There's some Digimon here, but I didn't really want to talk about the Digimon because I don't really care about that franchise. I'm sorry for the Digimon fans, but I really don't care. But yeah, what else did I even want to mention? Like, some of these are pretty broken. Haxorus Mega. I think we can end it off here. Yeah, so against Weak Armor, which you're probably thinking, well, Weak Armor is kind of bad, or not a crazy ability, and then you have 182 freaking attack. And then you obviously have Haxorus's move pool, so that includes Swords Dance, Scale Shot, with it does get slower though, which is pretty unfortunate, but you do have weak armor, so if you do get hit on the physical side, you're doubling your speed with 182 attack. Like, this would obviously destroy OU very easily, especially with Haxorus's move pool of close combat, poison jab, outrage, scale. Like, I don't think this is not questionable at all. And then obviously, since it's a Insurgents Pokemon, it should have, wait, is it from Insurgents? Yeah, it is. But it doesn't get Achilles heel, does it? Achilles heel is basically a super effective move in Insurgents that hits every Pokemon super effectively. But it's low base power, so it's not broken. But yeah, Mega Haxorus would be broken. But yeah, thanks for watching this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know down below what your favorite mon was from here. Let me know if you guys want to see this again, because there are still so many broken Pokemon to discuss when it comes to some of these fan games. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.